I've always said, Brady, these films, take them, use them as examples, show
Yeah.
them whatever you need to do. I don't care.
Right.
The actors, if you're a budding actor, take this film. I don't care. Make it, put it on your demo reel, use it. I don't
Right.
care, because that's the least I can do for people that have volunteered to help make these films. I don't
Right.
care. Use them. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
yeah,
Absolutely.
I don't feel any ownership over these films. I
Hmm.
think they're all our films.
Right. Right. It's
So,
collaboration. Yeah.
yeah, it's so if you want to use this film, I don't care. I mean, but for one thing, it's a Star Trek IP, so I don't own it anyway. So
Right. Yeah.
yeah, if
Uh-huh.
this will help you get a job in acting or production, or
Sure.
there's no denying that, as a medium, Star Trek fan films are seen by a lot of people.
Right.
So who
Yeah.
knows? I mean, maybe
Yeah. Exactly.
somebody. Yeah, I mean, as an
Hmm.
actor, I think it would be a good thing to have on your resume, because most likely, if you're making another short film, there are probably going to be a lot more views on a Star Trek film than just some
Right.
kind of independent title that
Absolutely.
disappointing.
Yeah.
We've worked with a lot of great people, and it's kind of disheartening that a lot of their work is it never gets seen.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, again, because we are working with an IP that's very popular and has a great legacy behind it. I think it's a great showcase for people because there are going to be more eyeballs on it. Because of that. And what happens with a lot of short film and short productions is, they go to festivals or they might get on, like a short film network or something, but there may not be as much exposure as a YouTube, you know, with what we have. And again, because of the IP, the brand recognition that Star Trek brings, so it's really an incredible, really, honestly, that CBS and Paramount let us go this far with it, So,
Yeah,
uh,
even with the guidelines, I
yeah,
feel like uh, when they first came out, it was really a stressful time. And I remember when they did first come out, we had a script for The Ties That Bind,
yeah,
and it was going to be at least an hour and a half.
right, yeah,
And when they hit, two segments at 15 minutes each, that just pretty much ruined it. And
yeah,
it's kind of strange, because when I was going through those older hard drives, sometimes I just kind of get lost in the past, and I found the script to The Ties That Bind, and that thing was 110 pages.
yeah. It was a feature,
And I just
so
kind yeah, I just kind of looked at it and thought, there's no way we could make that today.
yeah,
And
yeah,
that's the problem with Ties That Bind, is that a lot of people are asking for it,
Sir,
because that
I
that
can't contact engineering.
that little preview
They're
we did
gone.
was really good.
yeah, yeah,
I think and I look back at those older those days when we shot that, because we shot that, and then didn't we shoot? Yeah, we shot that first, and then Crosses to Bear was next. But
yeah. Which I
uh,
wasn't on Crosses the Bear. I think.
you actually played a helmsman or navigator.
Okay, I was in the film. Yeah, I do
Yeah,
remember that. Yeah,
and you did some behind the scenes photography on
yeah,
set.
that's right.
A-
Yeah,
and I got the original opening credits from you to use on that.
that's right.
So,
Yeah,
and I remember telling you that, I said one of the high points of that film was in the credits when your name was on it, because I wanted you to be attached to it some way.
right. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
But when we shot Ties, I look back on that, and I've always been really uh good at taking behind the scenes. It's like to keep a lot of that stuff. And I
yeah,
was just looking at all everybody's. I mean, there was a lot of people there when we shot that,
yeah.
and we had Scott, of course, was there.
Hmm.
Richard, Glenn Wolf, Dan.
Yeah,
I think Dan was there. I mean, and this was before everything went to hell, so to speak.
yeah. Well,
But
we had John and Charlie there too. I think,
yeah, we
if I
we
recall.
had
So
everybody.
yeah,
This was a really ambitious
it,
opening.
yeah, it was a family effort. Yeah,
Yeah, and
um,
I just look back on that. It's almost kind of bittersweet because of the way things are now with
yeah,
and I don't want to go into it, too much, but just how people don't get along and things happen and all that,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
it's just kind of bittersweet.
Yeah, I agree.
Back
Yeah.
in those, the one thing about Valiant is it seems like every time we shot, the set was just always fun. We all had
Yeah.
a good time,
Yeah. Yeah. It
and that's what
was.
I and though things have happened, I just remember the fun times. I can look back on the pictures and the videos that I took, and I can just smile and think, man, that was fun. We enjoyed
Yeah.
it. I mean, it's one of the lifetime kind of stuff. When I'm an old man sitting at home reliving all this stuff, it's just life when there's nothing going to be like that.
Right. Yeah.
You know, who,
You don't get every day. You don't get the chance to
yeah.
go make something like this. It's,
Yeah, who gets to make a Star Trek fan film? Who
right.
gets to to stand on those sets
Yeah.
and actually recreate something? Who gets to live the dream of actually doing something that you loved as a kid
Yeah.
and actually imitating what they did? And it's magic. It's just
Yeah.
magic.
It's kind of like, it's like saying how many people have been in outer space? How many people can say
Yeah.
that? How many people can say, I've stood on the set or whatever, it's really amazing. So,
Yeah, it's like I'll look at that old stuff and it's so heartwarming.
yeah.
And that's why I feel so uh great to have you and Scott and Richard
hmm
and Glenn Wolf and the people that helped me to make,
Yeah.
because it's just a time in my life that God, after it's gone it won't come again. So
Yeah. Right. And, it's great too. I mean, just, you know, being involved in all of this, I'm able to meet you and we've become really good friends and just meeting people like Scott and, it expands that pool of friendship that you have, to be able to get to know all these people and work with them, so
yeah, it's just
um,
it's been a great experience
yeah.
despite what's happened
Right.
and how
Yeah.
things have changed, and I hate it,
Yeah. Yeah.
but uh, I it doesn't diminish the fact that what we all have done together and what we all accomplished. When I look at these films, I just see everybody working together to do the best we can
Yeah. Right.
to honor Star Trek and the
Yeah.
show that we love. And it's just
Yeah.
it,
Yeah. It's funny you say that because, with the animals recently, when we finished, you sent me the credits list and, I'm typing it up to scroll on the screen. And, with every name you kind of remember, oh yeah, we did this that day or whatever. And it's just that sense of fun that you've had, there's people behind those names, people that
yeah,
you've worked with,
and it's really excellent because a lot of those people, you look at them and you kind of smile inwardly because
yeah,
they're just
yeah,
just the other day I kind of chatted with Aaron,
yeah, uh-huh, yeah,
uh because I won't mention any secrets, but remember that we talked about the little vignette,
yeah,
and
uh-huh,
I wanted her to play the lead,
uh-huh, yeah,
and so I kind of just messaged her and said, hey, story, and just wholeheartedly she says, yeah, sure.
that's great,
and
yeah,
and we just really come to, I can honestly say, I love these people. They're
hmm
just they're they're just great.
yeah,
And
it's family,
yeah, and I don't see them enough. I
yeah,
wish that we would get together and see each other more, but
yeah, well,
given
it's
current
hard.
climate, I guess that's kind of impossible now.
Well, hopefully by summertime we can have some kind of reunion like we were talking about. But yeah, even before all this, I mean, Oklahoma City is spread out anyways as a city, and so it's hard to get together. And then consider some people in Arkansas and other places. So
Yeah, and just scheduling is the hardest thing.
yeah,
But
right. Yeah, that's a lot of dynamics that go into that. So
so we shot Ties That Bind. You were also a director on that.
that's right.
And
Uh-huh.
yep.
Yeah.
I remember we had a few rehearsals in the
Yeah.
bridge.
hmm
And I remember we didn't even turn on the lights because we didn't need them. We just had overhead lights, so we didn't turn the instruments on.
Yeah.
and I think we had like maybe just 2 or 3 rehearsals before we shot that whole thing. But
Sounds about
I
right.
mean,
Yeah.
we had, Crystal Willis, who is she's an actress. She's the people we had, I believe everyone we had were actual actors, or at least, had been in a few things
Yeah,
locally,
I think so.
because we
Yeah.
had Crystal, who was great. Crystal, just, I think of Crystal and I think about that big smile that's always on her face.
Yeah, right. And she's
Uh,
so much fun to work with too.
yeah.
Yeah. So, and
And,
actually
and
she helped on Animals. She did some sound work
yeah,
for us.
yeah,
So,
she did. I think it was maybe the first shoot. Or no,
yeah,
I think it was the second one,
the second
because
one.
Ben did
Yeah.
the first one. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
And yeah, and then uh Erin, who's always great.
Yeah. Yeah.
She's just a lot of fun. She's a
Hmm.
sweet girl.
Yeah.
Uh
It's funny
and
because she plays such a menacing character, but
yeah,
there's a lot of laughter when she's around because she's very lighthearted and funny. So,
but yeah, we've had, I think, one of the biggest forces behind, Valiant has to be Scott,
yeah.
because
Oh, yeah.
Scott was switching to that mode when we were shooting, where he's just no nonsense. We need to get this done. Doors. I mean, it's just
Yeah.
Scott.
Yeah.
Just he did a really great job of
Yeah.
being involved, and the thing about Scott is that he helped out, almost everywhere.
Yeah, yeah. He's
And
our can do, go do everything
yeah,
kind of guy. So
yeah. Scott, he's always been there, and he's
yeah,
always been willing to help. I mean,
yeah. I mean
you couldn't.
the guy bought his own clapper so he could do all the takes. So that's dedication, and that's you just can't ask for anything better.
Yeah, and back in those days, Richard Wells would do the electronics on the bridge. He would
That's
keep
right.
everything running.
Yep.
But Ties That Bind, we actually had, Wolf came all the way from, I don't remember where he was living at the time, but
Was
it
it
was like
Chicago or Illinois?
it was like a
Yeah.
major big drive. I mean,
Yeah.
this just shows you how much people loved Star Trek. The
Yeah.
man, he traveled all the way from there, drove,
Yeah.
and he actually built Crystal's captain's chair, where we had that extension on the back.
That's
He's the
right.
one that built that.
Yeah. He built
And
a
then
lot
he
of props, right?
yeah, he
Yeah.
actually made all the Sukalon props too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, Aaron's little scanner,
Uh-huh.
I think the weapons were just purchased and painted, but yeah, and
Yeah.
and then Dan did the sound
That's
for
right.
us for that episode,
Yeah.
and him and Wolf also had a cameo.
Yeah, they were both on the bridge
Yeah,
set. Yeah. I
yeah.
remember
Wolf
that.
was a doctor,
Uh-huh.
and Dan, Dan was just a crew person. And let's see, we had I think Clayton was there. I don't know if you remember Clayton. He was actually the photographer on
Yeah, okay.
Ajax film.
I
Yeah,
remember
he was
now.
there to help. We had everybody there that
Yeah.
day. I mean, moms and dads, and you remember Rianne?
Yep, of course. Yeah.
Yeah, she was the helm officer.
That's right.
Then we even had my girl as
Yeah, she was on
and
that
one
bridge
of,
station. Yeah.
yeah. Even though she didn't want to do it.
Hey,
I just want,
we got a great reaction shot out of her. She
I
did
just
great.
wanted to do it, for posterity.
Yeah.
And then we had your wife in Legacy
That's right. And my
when
dad.
we did. Yeah, I don't know if people know, but yeah, your father and your wife were on the comm station, which
That's
was
right.
really great.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
like
really
I said,
great.
and my uncle's on the screen, so it's a family affair there.
Yeah, so now we've made him immortal.
Right.
So long after we're gone, the films will be here.
Right. Yeah.
So we'll just live on in film, I guess.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
But I mean, Ties That Bind, I think we shot that over, was it 2 days? And I think it was like what, 8 minutes?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
But there were, I think we started maybe on a Saturday and we went to Sunday.
Yeah, it was more of a weekend, I think. So
Yeah, that was going to be our ambitious opening for our hour-and-a-half film
right.
that got cut after the guidelines.
Well, and then I think, did we run in late into the night with that one, or did we keep it pretty stable as far as the schedule goes? I forget.
I think we did pretty. I think we did pretty good on the scheduling there
Okay.
because I remember us having dinner. I remember we had pizza, and actually Summer's the one that bought the pizzas in.
Oh yeah. Uh-huh.
I think the second day, I don't think we ran very long on the second day, but
No.
um, everything really went well with that.
Yeah.
It really did. And
And
we had
I
Nate,
right.
Nate
Right.
there doing
Yeah.
the makeup. He did the
Uh-huh.
Sukalon makeup,
Yeah.
which the
That was
makeup was great.
fantastic. Yeah.
And I remember we didn't have money for more than one alien, so you know we only had money for Aaron,
That's
and
right. Yeah.
and
Well,
I go to Nate and I say, well, Nate, we need soldiers. What are we gonna do? Have their hoods over their faces? And he goes, I got an idea. I got an idea. I can just kind of put a little paint on their faces, and, put their hoods on, and and it worked great
yeah, it did.
because
Yeah.
didn't see them a whole bunch, and then nobody could really tell that they weren't
Yeah.
in full makeup like Aaron.
Yeah. And they get vaporized pretty quickly, as I recall. So
Got pretty much vaporized in that one because
yeah.
they only lost one soldier.
Oh,
We
that's
lost one
right.
security guard,
Yeah.
and after we learned about the guidelines, ties that binds, we just kind of abandoned it. We just
Yeah. Yeah.
but
It's good. It's a big setup. The story is a big setup. So
that scene is so good. I would like to one day go back, and because I don't even think we ever mastered the sound or anything on it.
yeah, it was a pretty quick turnaround, if I recall. So
Yeah,
but yeah,
what?
that would be fun to go back to and revisit
Yeah,
someday.
one day and I remember you saying that you weren't happy with some of the displays on the monitors,
Yeah. Yeah, they were
which I thought they were great, but
yeah, I think I was more unhappy with how they were keyed out, how the green screen looked on them. So sometimes when you try to pull a key from green, it's not always super clean or whatever. And just because of time, I think I would have liked to have cleaned up a little more. But you know, part of rushing to a deadline is sometimes you can't always get to everything. So
I just keep trying to figure out that story, how to condense it to 30 minutes. I don't think it can be done and told the same story that we were trying to do back then.
yeah.
So it would totally change.
Hmm.
And that opening is such a God, we spent so much money on that and so much time, and so many people worked on it. I don't really know if it would actually work in terms of rewriting that story anymore. Because if we only have 30 minutes, that whole scene alone is almost 10 minutes long.
Right. Yeah.
So
Yeah. It was and it's a big story.
yeah, I don't know. I'm thinking, and what are your thoughts on this? I'm thinking if we do rewrite, or when we do rewrite Ties That Bind, maybe that scene shouldn't be in there anymore. Maybe we should just,
Yeah.
I think the whole story is going to change. I mean,
Yeah.
in terms of the 30-minute guidelines, if we redid that scene, it would probably be 3 minutes because
Yeah,
we
that's
wouldn't have
true.
the time.
Yeah.
We wouldn't have the time to do it anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's it
And
depends on.
I get so many comments on people. Are you guys that ever do Ties That Bind?
I know, and I've seen them on YouTube too.
Yeah, I've been getting those forever.
Yeah.
But maybe one of these days we can at least finish it and
Yeah.
get it to where you would like it, and maybe
Mhm.
remaster the sound and just introduce it as a
Yeah,
preview. I mean, I think it would be to do.
Yeah, that would be fun. I think so too. So
It was so ambitious, and I remember we actually removed part of a section of, I think, over where Spock's station is and beyond, and actually put round monitors to make it different
Yeah.
from a Constitution class, because her ship was different. And then I kind of was inspired
Right.
by the cage to have it, give it kind of like cage monitors.
yeah, yeah, and
I just feel
you had a printout too that you put up in one of
Yeah.
the screens that looked really.
I just
nice.
feel
So,
I just feel like for the people that worked on it, we should probably get it done, and because they work so hard. Everybody works so hard on that.
yeah, I agree. Yeah, and that was That was, I had just bought my new camera at the
All
time,
hands.
so that was my
This is the
first.
captain. I'll be setting
Yeah,
the
it,
tower to
it was really
self-destruct.
cinematic.
Yeah, that was
Army
my
And I
first.
remember
make your way to the nearest
I remember
escape pod
asking
and
you
leave
what
immediately.
Jaina thought about it,
Abandoned
Uh-huh.
and you told me that she said that it was really of a movie quality. It looked like a movie.
Yeah, I had gotten a new camera and new lenses, and so that was kind of my goal, was to get more cinematic with filming. So
Yeah, I remember too. We had John Hughes there. I mean, we had all the basically the Oklahoma fan filmmakers there. I mean, we had Charlie, we had John Hughes, Scott Johnson, Richard, Wolf, Dan, and I'm forgetting somebody. Not to mention Robert. You remember Robert Serrano? He played the
but
Dragon at your house.
Oh yeah, he was in Animals. Yeah, absolutely.
He was actually in Ties It Bind. He was a crew member laying on the floor and the crew member in the elevator.
He got vaporized.
So he had 2 roles. Yeah. Somehow he had an out of body experience and got up. But
it was his twin brother. Yeah.
Yeah. And then we had Words. Remember Words? He was. He actually had station, the monitor set up to film the. I mean, that you were looking at when you were filming it.
Yeah,
I've got a lot of behind the scenes pictures and videos from when we shot that.
That was a great production. Yeah.
And then we had Jill. What's her last name? She was a script supervisor. Jill Sanchez.
Yeah. Yep.
Yep. She was there. I mean, it was like everybody was there on that shoot.
Yeah, it was a family production.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun shooting that.
Yeah, I remember that very well. Yeah.
I think just as a standalone, maybe when we do Ties It Bind, maybe and I don't even know if that the new rewrite would even include that scene, but we could just do it as a standalone. I think it's a nice standalone scene. And your dad was in that too, because he was the helm officer when we switched to the Valiant. Captain. So he had been in 2
That's
episodes.
Right. Yeah. Get the alert goes off on the console.
Now, who was on the other side of your father? I don't remember who that. I haven't watched it in so long. But or did we just have? Or maybe we just had a shot of your dad?
Yeah, because he sat on what would be
he was Sulu's side.
Yeah, so that angle didn't include the other navigator or helmsman.
Confirmed.
So.
It's
maybe there was nobody there.
Yeah, I doubt there was. So
would have been nice if we could have had your wife there again. That would have been really nice.
Yeah,
but your dad's always so great in these. He's just so natural.
Yeah,
I mean he's just so great. I love your dad. He's a great guy.
Well, I know he had fun on it. So
yeah, he's just a great presence. And we had remember we had Jill's daughter.
Yeah.
The older one. What's her name? Not Keely. Keely's the younger one.
Right. Yeah.
And I can't believe I'm forgetting the name.
I'm terrible with names, so you're asking the wrong guy.
Jesse.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Jesse. She was in the Vulcan makeup.
That's
Nate
right.
had done Vulcan makeup on her.
Yeah.
And she looked great.
Well, they were in the sick bay scene too.
She was a nurse in that.
Yeah, that's right. When we did
and it was the special edition. She was the nurse, and then that was one thing that was important about the special edition, that I wanted to have as many different people as I could, a Hispanic girl, an Asian girl, a black guy, a white guy, and that really was I just sometimes during fan films, sometimes I get a little disheartened when I just see just one representation.
Right. Yeah, it's kind of that's what Starfleet is. It's all of Earth.
I mean, realistically, it's not going to happen.
Right.
But I think it's just a great example when we see so many different types of diversity in films. It's just great.
Absolutely.
And I've always tried to maintain that in our films.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the Ties That Bind, it's just I don't know. I kind of look back on that with fondness, because we just I think we really hit our stride when we made that.
Yeah.
And I think that it is really well directed. I think you did a great job directing
Thank you.
that
Thank you. It was
because
fun. It was,
yeah, you had so much going on that day. And one of the things about directing that a lot of times that's not mentioned is that it's kind of harder sometimes because you get so much input from everybody.
right. Uh-huh. Yeah.
Everybody has their own vision. No, I think you should do it this way, and then somebody will say, no, I think it works better this way.
Yeah.
And you just managed to, you listened and you calmly said, oh, okay, you think that works? Okay, well, we might try that. But you always broke through all that those suggestions, and you did it the way that worked the best.
Yeah, I think again, I look at it as a collaborative effort, on everybody's part, and you never want to devalue anybody's input in any way. Everybody's input is welcome. It's important. Whether I agree or disagree with it, it's still valuable. So
Yeah, you can always listen.
yeah, I wouldn't want to ever devalue or let anyone think that I don't want to hear what they have to say.
Well, I remember when we shot Ties, there were times when I felt like you were getting too many suggestions.
Oh yeah.
and I would kind of step in and say, okay, guys, we appreciate the suggestions, but we got to get going. We're running out of time, and that was, that was always our biggest enemy, time, because we had certain people that I have to be at work at 3. We got to shoot my scenes first.
Yeah.
Brady, when can we shoot my scenes? Because I got to be at work and the kids are coming back home. So it was always a matter of, usually we would shoot when people had to leave,
Yeah.
shoot their stuff first.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's the thing. Time is of the essence on set, and
time was not on our side.
I don't think it ever is when we film. So
and we've always been in situations where we had to adapt and change and do things differently. And even that even came to the script when we'd have a certain scene set up a certain way. And a lot of times when you write something, it's nowhere near as close to actually shooting it.
Yeah.
Because things change.
Right.
That's why I always say a script is kind of just a guideline. It tells you what you need to do, but sometimes it don't tell you if it'll work that way. Because I remember many situations where you'll pick up the script and say, well, this isn't working. We need to shoot this another way, or
sure.
And that's when I go down to your expertise and say, Brady, I don't know how you want to do this, but whatever way you want to do it, I trust you.
Yeah. It's funny when you write a script, you have in your mind's eye how you think it should play out. And sometimes, it's the funny thing, the difference between imagination and reality. You get down to it, and sometimes things don't work as well as you would think they would, so it's just part of the process. It's just,
there's several things in the scripts that when you look at the final film, it's like, that wasn't even in the script. We just discovered that today. We just did that today.
Right.